All right. I think we're ready to go. If I get the camera in the right direction. Nice. All right. Let's start making a mess. Hey guys, welcome in. We are churning hard maple today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, relaxing Sunday. Just going a little stir crazy at home, so I'm like, yeah, might as well come and make some shafts, hang out. Great. So these are Turkish styled or cross arms. So they come in 3 pieces. So I already got the arms cut out, and today we are making the shafts. I can see the chat if you guys have anything you want to talk about. So when I order my shaft material, I do order it oversized so I can true it up. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can get some more people in the room. So last night we got our first real snow here where I live in Wisconsin. Yesterday we got about an inch, and then it started up again around 7 or 8, and we got another 5 or 6 inches. So there's a little snow to move around this morning. I personally was dreaming of a green Christmas, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. We've been pretty lucky the last few years. We haven't gotten a whole lot of snow. I think we're going to pay for it this year, but we'll see. Add some wax. Now, I've done everything I could do between centers, which just means I have a 4-jaw chuck, so this wood is clamped in here. And on this end, we have a live center, so there's a pin with a bearing that's spinning around super fast. So, since I have it in a 4-jaw chuck, I can cut off the top of the spindle and it won't go flying off. And then we can machine the finial on the top. Sanding operation. Go back and we'll burnish. Think of burnishing like a friction polish. A little bit of wax. Now the spindle's done. I'm going to cut it off in the bottom. I'm going to bring it to a point. And the reason for the point is some people like using it as a supported spindle. Looking good. So I think I have about 2 more streams of me making these, and then I'll be caught up to the arms I have made right now. So I'll probably be on here making different things next week. We'll see. Alright, so we got to bring it down to size. I'm going to be using this roughing gouge. We're just bringing the diameter down. So I'm using the wrench or the spanner as a caliper. So if it fits over the top, I know I'm on size. So if you look at I'm redrawing in the lines, but I have some lines on here. And what they do is they help me make different size shafts. We're currently trying to make 8-inch shafts, 7 and 8, and then I got about a dozen of those to make, and then we're going to be starting to make some 6-inch shafts. We'll see. I am running out of material, so probably have enough for today. Alright, we're getting close, so I'm going to switch from the roughing gouge to a spindle gouge. It's a little less aggressive, it leaves a better finish. So it's really important that these shafts are straight. If I was making a piece of furniture or whatnot, or a magic wand or anything like that, it wouldn't have to be perfectly straight. This is part of a simple machine. A very, very early simple machine. We've been using spindles since at least Neolithic times, so sort of what makes us human. Now we're going to burn in a couple decorative lines. So this is my day job. Making it with Scott is more of project-oriented, beginner to intermediate scroll saw projects, some lathe projects. Hey Jim, how's it going today? I just did a scroll saw review a couple days back. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, that's what it's kind of focused on. But I've been doing a bunch of live streaming just because I'm working. I got the camera set up, I might as well turn it on, you know. So I primarily make fiber tools. So things for spinners, crocheters, knitters, that kind of stuff. And I have been doing it full time since 2013. It has been an adventure. Much better than punching a clock. I tend to work more. That's alright. Alright, so we're going to be using this beading tool. You could just use a skew, but this is a little bit quicker. So when I come in, I'm kind of pivoting a little bit. And the reason for that is if I would go straight in, it would make a whole bunch of chatter, which is be a bunch of vertical lines all over it, which is fine if that's the look you're going for, but burn a couple lines. So these are used to spin yarn. So this is what came before the spinning wheel. So here's an example. You know, this one is not done. It's not sanded or balanced yet. There's no finish on it. Yeah, this is what they look like in use. So this is wool roving. So sheep got a haircut, and then we spun it into yarn. Eduardo, how's it going? Yeah, so these arms need to be sanded and balanced. Then we put a finish on them, and then we laser engrave the business name, the type of wood, and the weight of the spindle in both ounces and grams. So for many years, I used to write on the bottom with permanent marker, paint markers, but eventually those wear off. So Started laser engraving them in there. What other kinds of tools do I make? I make a bunch of different types of spindles. I make top whirls, low whirls, Turkish spindles, Russian spindles. I'm working on Tibetan spindles. I make niddy knotties that are used to wrap the yarn to make hanks. I make lucettes. I also make earrings. I go to a lot. I do shows. So we do festivals, so I'll do earrings, keychains. I do some sublimation. So I'll sublimate on like coffee cups. I do 3D printing and laser engraving as well. So I make a bunch of stuff. Stitch markers. I occasionally make spinning wheel bobbins. I do spinning wheel repair, but only for spinning wheels that I buy. I don't fix other people's. I fix up ones I buy and then I sell them. I used to make crochet hooks. I really don't have time to do that anymore. So a little bit of this and that. This is probably one of my more popular things is the Turkish spindles. These are standards. These are one of the least expensive spindles I make. So these are more of a beginner spindle. There's nothing wrong with them. They're nice. They're just made out of domestic woods. A lot of my nicer spindles are exotic woods. So we kind of lucked out. We found a commercial workspace. It's an old grocery store. It was made in like 1900, so it's not big. It's, a couple thousand square feet. But it's like 5 minutes away from the house. So when it's nice out, we can walk to work. That one has a lot of vibration in it. So we didn't do anything wrong. Wood's a natural material. So there's a lot of internal stresses in wood. So this one we're not going to use. So if we look at it, the grain is running in this orientation right here. So it's running like that. So we want the grain running this way. Because right now it's gonna split. Probably have to break it on my knee. You see, so it's split around that angle there. So when we get these, we have to make sure that the majority of the grain is that way. So this is called a storyboard or a story stick. It just has lines on it. I have them labeled, they don't have to be. So you just transfer the lines over. So that way they'll all be relatively close to being the same. So this test piece I have on here, this test roll, I've made this cutout so it registers against that. So I was born to be a blue-collar worker. It's just the way it is. Couldn't fathom sitting behind a desk all day. So prior to this, I worked in factories for almost 20 years. It was like 18 years. I spent many years putting magazines together in a bindery, and then I went and I made vehicles. I worked on an assembly line for almost 6 years, and then I was making these as a hobby, and then they finished up a big contract with the government, so they laid a bunch of people off. Being there 6 years, I made it to like the third round of layoffs. So after a year, they sent me a letter, and I had like 2 days to show up to work again if I wanted my job back. It's kind of funny. They want you to give 2 weeks to before you quit, but if they want to bring you back, you got 2 days. I got it on a Friday, and they wanted me back on Monday. And if you don't show up, then you know what? Then you don't have a job here. So basically, you're not good enough to work here for a year, but then you're going to have to screw over whatever job you're currently working for. That didn't really sit right with me. So. And I'm much happier doing this. Hey Nate, my day's going pretty good. I got up, I shoveled snow at home, came here, shoveled the sidewalk, went home. I made breakfast. Had a couple cups of coffee. The girlfriend wasn't feeling great, so she went to lay down. So I took a little nap, and I'm like, you know, this isn't... if I'm going to lay in bed all day, I might as well come to work. So yeah, we're making Turkish drop spindles. They are made to spin yarn. So it's what came before spinning wheel. So here's one in use. So this is the yarn that I've spun on. So the cool things about this style, there's a lot of spindles where you store the yarn around the shaft. This one you wrap it around the arms. When you're done, you can remove the shaft, remove the arms, and then you have a center pull ball. So this is the same thing as a spinning wheel. It takes a little bit longer. Yeah. Yes. Old school, like, we've been using drop spindles since Neolithic times, so definitely old school. Hello, Brazil. Yeah, it's a very niche thing. It's one of the things that look really, really simple to make, but there's a lot of, well, physics involved. You have a ton of poodle here you want to spend? Absolutely. Do I have a store, or is it all online sales? The majority of my sales are online. We do some limited wholesaling, so you can get it from some big yarn shops in America. And then I do festivals as well. So my next show, I'm in Wisconsin. My next show is in March, and it's in North Carolina. So, oh, that's awesome. So we do have a little bit of a retail area, but it's by appointment only. We're in a little town that has like no foot traffic. It's one of those downtowns that you have no reason to go to the downtown. So we'll have people get a hold of us to pick up stuff or play with stuff. Yeah, it works. So, you know, starting in December, coming up pretty quick, we're going to run to the post office every day to drop stuff off. Normally we go to the post office twice a week. It's one of the things, right when we get close to Christmas, I think the cutoff, I'm not sure what the cutoff date is, but it's like, oh, we can relax a little bit again. Big demand. Well, you know, I'll never be rich. I will never have a top hat and a monocle smoking cigars. But, you know, my bills are paid. But it's taking me, you know, I've been doing this for, 12 years. You know, definitely the first few years were very, very lean. It's like anything else, you need to build a reputation up. This is hard maple, so it's strong. My experience is, as far as the replacement shafts go, when I have to replace them, you know, they get put in project bags. They get sat on a lot or crushed. But a lot of them get chewed on by animals. More cats than you would expect. But yeah. As long as, you know, they come apart for storage. So, as long as you store them correctly, that's really not a problem. Yeah. So these are drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. Oh yeah, the skew, you know, some people are big skew guys, and you know, they'll do like stupid pet tricks and run the skew backwards across to make a bunch of big wood chips. This one isn't very straight. We'll turn the speed down. So if you look at the front there, you can see how far it's off. I should have enough meat on here where I should be able to take enough material off to make it straight. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Yeah, with the skew, sometimes I feel like I'm thread chasing, where, you know, you'll put it in, you'll get a catch and go whoop, make spirals all the way down. Dang it. Yeah, so with the skew, they just put it on backwards. Yeah, this is too thin. It was bigger. See how we're doing. So you might notice I am supporting the wood a whole lot with my hands. And that is for the simple fact that this thing is so thin. If I wasn't supporting it, it would shatter, and then it wouldn't be straight. Now you can see I still have all of my fingers, all of my toes too. So yeah, story stick, we're just transferring over these lines. We got 2 more 8-inch shafts, then we need 2 7-inch shafts, and then we need a whole bunch of 6-inch shafts. Alright, so we're going to use this beading tool. Like I said, you could use a skew. This is just a little quicker. Come up here, start forming the finial. Yeah, for this type of operation, I have no qualms about putting my skew down and just using it as a scraper. It's okay. And I did sharpen my before I started streaming today. It's been a few days. Most of my tooling is Robert Sorby out of Sheffield, England. They have really nice high-speed steel. So it stays sharp pretty well. Making these little things, you know. Just a little touch up here and there. So, since we do festivals, like I said, the next one is Carolina Fiber Fest. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina in March. So for that show, in a big show over a weekend, I can sell more in a weekend than it takes me a month to sell online. If that makes sense? What's that meat thing? This is wax. This is paste wax. Although I would make more money replacing shafts if I would rub meat on them. Then dogs would chew them a lot more. So when I first started, somebody said they needed a replacement shaft. I'm like, oh, not a big deal. What happened? You know, my dog chewed it up. I'm like, oh, I have to stop rubbing bacon grease on them. So I thought it was serious. I'm like, oh boy. So the wax acts as a protectant. So the majority of these will be used with wool, and wool always has a little bit of lanolin on it. So, you know, it's just gonna, if the wax does get worn off, it does have a solvent in it. The lanolin will keep the wood nice and pretty. So our main goal is to make these straight. So we're not being overly aggressive. I could make these a lot faster, but once you start putting pressure on stuff, things can go bad pretty quick. You know, the big thing with production work is to have everything you need in arm's reach, and you know where it is, and it always goes back there. There's nothing worse than trying to hunt down a pencil. Hey, Andre, how's it going? So I like to put magnets on things, because I can just stick them onto the lathe, and they don't go anywhere. Hey, Jordan, welcome in. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Little wax. Hey, Mayhem. Hey, NPH. Greeting from North Pole, Alaska. I guess I won't complain about the snow here then. Yes, with the wood chips we are burnishing, yep. I am running it full out open. It's 3,564 RPMs. I will turn it down a little bit when I'm sanding, but these things are so thin, you can get away with running them as fast as you can. Hey, said, I am doing pretty good today. And yourself? I'm in Wisconsin. That's why I have this outrageous Midwestern accent. It could be worse. I could be in Minnesota or Upper Michigan. Don't you know? Alright, so we're done with the 8-inch shafts now. I mean, I need, like, infinity, so it's, like, if I make them, it's not a big deal. You're in Michigan? Oh, yeah, whereabouts? Upstate? Are you in the UP? Downstate? It's warm here today, 15 degrees. Yeah, you're going to be jealous of me. We're 30 degrees. And we only got, like, 6 inches of snow. Indiana? Hi, guys. I went to college in Upper Michigan. Oh, thank you so much. I've never been to Vermont. You know, there's lots of fiber shows in New England. It's just, yeah, 13 inches, right? Yeah, I went to college in Suomi College in Hancock, Michigan. Drop spindles are used for spinning yarn. So, oh, I bet the fall it's gorgeous. So it later became Finlandia University, and then it closed. It's like right by Michigan Tech. So there was some lake effect snow from Lake Superior, that's for sure. You know, that big lake they called Gitchagumi. So the question Mayhem has, is spinning the process of making it or something like crocheting and knitting? Alright, I can actually do a little demo here. I do have my spindle laying here. So, enjoy the sawdust backdrop. So, this is wool, this is top. A lot of people call it roving. So, the sheep got a haircut. They picked out the poopy bits. They gently washed it to not felt it, but to get a lot of the lanolin out. And then they combed it or carded it so all the hairs are in the same direction. Delightful, right? All right. Welcome in, George, the cat. So I'm going to spin the spindle. So it's putting twist into the fiber, and then with my hands, I'm drafting. So I'm defining the thickness of the yarn. That piece is a little thick, so I'll just lay some more over the top. A little thin. So I'm doing a short draw here. It's just easier. So putting twist into the fiber. Now I'm going to just wrap the fiber around my hands to keep it under tension. And then we store the fiber on the spindle. Come up, I'm going to put a ½ inch in, and then just keep repeating that process. So this is a single. A lot of times when you see yarn, you see plied yarn. So this thin yarn here, if I would ply it together, it would be more of a sports weight or a DK weight. So not super, super thin yarn. So I can show you what that looks like. So there we go. We got one here. Hey, not a problem. So what I'm going to do is just make a little slip knot. It's like a crochet loop. Now if you look, I have 1, 2, 3 out of the one piece. I'm going to spin it the opposite way, and we'll apply it together. So now if you look at that, it's starting to look like yarn. So you would wash it to wet set it, and then it would be ready to use, just like any yarn you'd buy at the store. There we go. We'll pretend I don't have a bunch of sawdust on the floor right now. They keep kicking out of the way. So what I was doing with my hands directly transfers over to a spinning wheel. So some people like starting with spindles before they make the investment of buying a spinning wheel. New spinning wheels will cost you anywhere between a few $100s for a cheap plastic thing. If you're about $600-700 starting, and then it goes up into the thousands of dollars. Do they have spinning and weaving groups where I live? Absolutely. Now, we have a bunch of fiber guilds. Oh. Ouch. Just wait until you figure out about 6'9". It'll be hilarious. It's a progression from 6'7" to 6'9". You knit? Awesome. I do way more spinning, but I do knit a little bit, but I'm more likely to like crochet a blanket than I am knit a blanket. If I'm making a beanie, it's either one. Scarves I usually knit. Socks. My girlfriend would love me if I started knitting socks. I need my website prominently visible. That's a little small there. Sock manufacturer, nice. Like commercial socks, like a ton of socks, like. My girlfriend doesn't love me right now. She's watching TV and taking a nap at home. So technically I abandoned her today. Yeah, I gotcha. Nice. The world needs more socks. And then I made an 8-inch shaft even though I don't need one right now. That's all right. Of course I have it. Everybody wears socks, pretty much. All right, so we're going to be shooting for a... Hey, how's it going, Symphony? Welcome in. Hello, Margarita. Welcome in. Unfortunately, I only speak English. And the only thing I know in Russian is like, is it like Trebiet my drug? It's horrible. I probably sound like Yakov Smirnov trying to speak English. Hello, Pakistan. Hello. Hello, India. I'm in America. I'm in Wisconsin. We got like, I could walk you outside. We got like 5 or 6 inches of snow last night. You're in Wisconsin also? Nice. I'm in Fond du Lac, actually North Fond du Lac. So, wasn't too bad. It was like our first real snow of the year. And it's warm enough where they've salted a lot, but... So, here's a little bit of snow. Not too bad. North Carolina, nice. I'll be in Raleigh in March for Carolina Fiber Fest. I also do SAF, which is in Fletcher, which is close to, yeah. I'm trying to get people to come up and take the snow away already. Yeah, in North Carolina, that would just put the end of everything. You guys just don't have the equipment to take care of it. You don't got the salt and sand and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, well, I knew it was coming, and it was like the first big, it's like, yeah, here we go. we're going to put some paste wax. I like North Carolina. We were considering moving to North Carolina, but then we found this shop 5 minutes away from the house. Normally it takes, you know, until after Christmas to start hating snow, but you know, I'm 50, so I'm already hating it. Thomas, you need someone to lower your car? Unfortunately, no. So, this one is canary wood, and this is the shape, I call it the glider. So these are the more expensive ones. You can't find your car? Well, that means step number 1. So, hey Spawn, how's it going? Welcome in. Zilda, hello. Welcome in. Where's your car, dude? Your tattoo says, dude. Alright. Too much snow, yeah, I bet. Looking good, guys. Yeah. You know, on my day off, the last thing I want to do is get up in the morning and then come here to shovel snow. But that's all right. Yeah, after spending a few winters in Upper Michigan, I really shouldn't complain about the snow down here in Wisconsin. Hey, Kate, welcome in. Hello, Arizona. How often do I sharpen my tools? Those things look sharp. I did sharpen them right before the stream. For this type of work, I usually go a few days, and then I'll just do little touch-ups. So I use CBN wheels. So they look like diamond wheels. It's just cubic boron nitrate rather than diamond. Hey, little corners. So yeah, when in doubt, sharpen. They dull so slowly that you don't realize they're dull until you sharpen, like, wow. Yeah, so these are Robert Sorby. So these are made in Sheffield, England. They have really nice high-speed steel. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that make nice tools, but these do keep their edge for a long time. Hello, Morocco. I'm in the United States of America. Another canary wood. Now 6-inch shafts. So these longer shafts, I'm going to get a 6-inch shaft and 4 1/4 out of them. We're just doing the 6-inch ones now. So I've got like 4 sticks that look like this. So these are still Turkish spindles. These are just smaller ones, and these have laser engraving on them. So the smaller the spindle, the thinner the yarn. The bigger the spindle, the bigger the yarn. So we'll say, yeah, right there. Hey Marty, welcome in. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, we are turning hard maple. And we are making Turkish style drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. It's a very niche thing, but yeah, this is basically my day job. This is what I do for a living. And I figured if I'm going to be standing here for hours on end, I might as well share my experience. You guys keep me working, which I appreciate. Hello, N. Let's see what's going on. Give me 1 second here. What about the jokes of time? Okay. Well, welcome in regardless. This one's done. We'll cut off the bottom. Before I get into the ones that I showed, I do have some different ones here that we'll put up together. Test spin. This one needs a hair balancing. This is a genuine mahogany. Very pretty wood. You know what's good when it's the word, it has the word genuine in. There are a lot of woods that sort of look like mahogany. Hey Stan, they could be more straight. How much? Well, I appreciate that. The price varies depending on what they are. Hello T, welcome in. You're looking for professional grade or collector grade. Well, there you go. Have fun. Yeah, once the balance is done, they're not done yet. Why am I angry? I'm not angry. I've just been live streaming for a long time. I just threw that wax paper. I don't have any wax paper, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Kind of sounds like a you problem. That's fine. Have a great day. I have no wax paper. I don't know what you're talking about. Have a super day. Hey Klaus, how's it going? Welcome in. That's okay. So this is before sanding and balancing. So if they are already balanced, it makes it a lot easier. Unfortunately, they're just not professional grade. Oh well. So the odd part, just hang on a second. So luckily, you know, on Etsy I've had over 26,000 sales with a 5-star review with over 9,000. So somebody likes them. Ugh. So yeah, we're just knocking out the 6-inch shafts. It should go a little bit quicker. A little bit, smaller. We're not removing quite as much material. So yeah, we are doing production work, so we're making as many as we can without letting the quality drop on them, obviously. So, I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. So if you're just tuning in, we are making drop spindles that are used for spinning yarn. So this is what came before a spinning wheel. We're currently making Turkish style drop spindles, which are cross arm spindles, which are pretty neat because when you're using them, you're winding around the arms of the spindle rather than the shaft, which makes a center pull ball. This is amazing. Hello, my friend. Welcome in. I guess I'll say 1MZ. M1Z. Don't let the dyslexia kick in. So there we go. So this is Tiger Maple. See the stripes? So it's curly maple. So you might notice a little bit of a gap there. That's because this is wedge shaped, so it's wedging in the bottom section. There you go. So I do have headphones in. My hearing protection are also Bluetooth headsets. So if I get quiet, I'm kind of listening to music here. For some reason, I can't talk when the Goo Goo Dolls are playing. I don't know what it is. Hello, welcome in. Just out of curiosity. So Lee Young Gil, hello, welcome in, and Wing Yong Yoon. Not very close, but I'm trying. Hello and welcome in. Suppose it's probably what time is it in Korea right now? Like 9 p.m. 8 p.m. I'm okay with Australia. I know they're like 18 hours ahead. I'm not sure how far ahead Korea is. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, we are turning hard maple today on the lathe. This is a wood lathe. It's a Laguna Revo 1216. So it's their MIDI size lathe. So lathes come in a bunch of sizes, but the typical lathes are pen lathes, which are tiny. They're for making pens. Then you get your MIDI size, and then you get your full size. So this allows me to be able to say, I don't have a big enough lathe. Can you make me a baseball bat? I'm sorry, I don't have a big enough lathe. Can you make me a pool cue? Sorry, I don't have a big enough lathe. So everything I make fits nicely on this size. And when I bought this lathe, I was working out of a little bedroom at the house. So if I put a full-size lathe in there, it would have just taken up like the whole wall. So I've had larger lathes in the past. This is a nice one. So this has pulse width modulation on it. So the lathe knows what speed to spin at, and it stays at that speed. So by doing that, you get torque even at slow speeds. A lot of times, if you get a cheaper lathe, the slow speed, there's just no oomph behind it. So I'm very happy with this lathe. I've had it probably at least 5 years. It's working out nice. Prior to this, I had a Raycon, and its biggest fault was it took a long time to start up. When you're doing production work, having to wait a few seconds every single time for it to spool up to speed just kind of drove me nuts. Yeah, so this story stick here, I just had a piece of, I don't even remember what this is. Might be a coat. Anyways, I put magnets on it so I could store it, but I just kind of lay it down now. So there you go. We are a quiet bunch today. So if you're new to the stream, my name's Scott. This channel here is, normally it's either like, or intermediate like scroll saw and lathe projects. So I'm trying to give back. I'm trying to, you know, answer a bunch of questions that I had when I started. I want to make people's experiences as pleasant as they can be. Like I said, I got like a couple more days of these, and then I have some bigger stuff I need to make. So right now we're just trying to get through the holiday season. And then we have 2 months before our first show. So we are making drop spindles. These are Turkish style drop spindles or cross arm spindles that are used to spin yarn. So this is what came before the spinning wheel. A lot of people will start out learning to spin on a spindle before moving to the spinning wheel. And there's other people that are crazy like me that prefer the spindles. I'm a spindle maker though. What we're going to do is replace this burning wire. That makes sense. So a lot of people use guitar strings to burn. I have a whole bunch of picture frame hanging wire. It does get hot and brittle and break, which is fine. So just put little handles on it. So basically making a small garrote. And it has a magnet on it so I can stick it to my lathe so I always know where it is. So it starts out being relatively long, and then over time, every time it breaks, it gets like an inch shorter. So this one should last me probably 2 weeks. Maybe a little more. So now we're just burnishing with some wood chips. It's all right. It's not something most people see every day. So yeah, so we're spindle turning, so it'd be basically the same tools if I was making a baseball bat or a banister for chairs or banister for stairs or chair parts. Pens, same thing. Hello N and hello D. How's it going? Welcome in. So these are hard maple. So for many years, I would start out with square stock. So I'd buy a thick piece of wood, and then I would take it to the bandsaw and resaw it down into to this shape, and then we would turn it. Hey, Gavin! How's it going? Welcome in. Welcome back. Which is fine, but I buy the doweling now because it makes less of a mess and it's already, round. So it's more expensive to do it this way, but it saves me time. And time is money. Right now we're making 6-inch shafts. And we need quite a few of them. So what happened was, for pretty much a week I didn't make any shafts. I was on the scroll saw cutting out the arms. Because we were doing a review. Buck Tool sent me a scroll saw to test and make a video, so I did that. So now I have all these arms that need shafts. And I have been streaming on the lathe quite a bit lately, just, stupid day job. I could be making little Christmas trees right now. But no, gotta make this. Add a little wax, calls them good. So these arms are Bolivian rosewood. Once it gets sanded out, it'll be really pretty. Once you put a finish on it, it'll pop. So if you're watching this, remember, stay in school. Otherwise, you might be live streaming on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. So yeah, I've been making these full time for going on, it's been 12 years. So I guess I've been doing okay. Try to center it. Alright, we're gonna see how this one looks. Looks good. So the reason for the two beads is just to differentiate. There we go. Mine from other people's. So pretty much all my shafts have the two beads on the bottom, except for the minis. They're just really, really small. So those just get a single line burned in. This is called a little standard because it's just a little one of these. Girlfriend named that one. That's all right. And this one's not very straight at all. So try it this way. I don't think it's going to help. Should we try it? We'll try it. Worst case scenario, it goes in the fireplace. This hard maple makes great kindling. Alright, we're going to replace our sandpaper. It's getting a little bit old. So we have a medium grit and then a fine grit. These things are tools. You're going to be touching them all the time. Yeah. That is too much vibration, my friends. So we'll save this little piece and see. Should be able to make a little one out of that later. Yep, so this piece here is 13 inches long. I'm going to get a 6-inch and then a 4 1/4. So when I make the 4 1/4, I'll put a smaller tool rest on because I'm only going to be using that much of it. So I'm leaning back and forth. So I got everything locked in here and then I'm leaning. So the bottom of the skew is resting on my hip. And it looks like I'm just going back and forth, but I'm anchored and leaning. So I really don't have a set schedule for streaming. If you like hanging out with me, the easiest thing to do would be to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when I come on live. And then if it's too much, you can always turn it off. Not a big deal. Burnishing. How's that? Oh, amazing. Hello, A. Welcome in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. What's a spindle? There you go, Nate. Spindles are tools that are used to make yarn. They come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. The ones we're making today are Turkish, aka cross-arm spindles. So here's one that I've been spinning on. So this is roving. It's actually top, it doesn't matter. So this is wool. The sheep got a haircut. They picked all the nasty bits out. Then they washed it, being careful not to felt it, to get the lanolin out. Then they carded it. So they either combed it or they used like a brush to get all the hairs in the same direction. So this is a yarn that I've spun on the spindle. So the next step would be to ply it to make it thicker, and then it would look like the yarn you see at the store. So yeah, this is just what came before the spinning wheel. Why am I looking in 2 p.m.? Well, it's 2:40 p.m. here. Yeah. Now, if I was making like a magic wand, it'd be the same tools, the same thing. Same with like a baseball bat or furniture parts, like the spindles in the back of chairs, or big ones would be like banisters on steps, you know, staircases. So if I wasn't streaming, I'd be either listening to music or I'd have like the TV playing in the background, something to listen to. Audiobooks are great when you're working. But I do enjoy hanging out with you guys and having conversations. So the phone that I am streaming with right now does not have there's no service on it. I just use it, you know, to stream with. And the reason for that is when I used my normal phone, every time I got a phone call, you had to choose whether you're going to answer the phone call or end the stream, or, you know. So this has worked out very nice. So that's why you might see me playing on a different phone. This just stops disruptions. Another little standard. It's literally LIL apostrophe standard. So. So I've always enjoyed working with my hands. I've always been a factory worker. I spent almost 13 years putting magazines together. I used to run a large machine. It was a drum stitcher, so it made the magazines with the staples in. So I did that for like 2 weeks shy of 30 years. Then I went to, that was Quad Graphics, then I went to Oscar Truck, where I worked on an assembly line putting together vehicles. I did that for 6 years. I was doing this kind of stuff on the side as a hobby. So I started on Etsy in 2008. Back in the wild beginnings. When if you sold something, it was your responsibility. They didn't have a label system. You had to make labels yourself. So you'd have to put in the tracking and send it to them. It was a pain in the butt. And in that aspect, it's gotten better. Yep, so when I got laid off from the truck plant, I started doing this full time. And the thought was, if this failed, I would just go get a different job. Pretty simple. So the thought of repetitive things doesn't really bother me. It's just... I'm neurodivergent, so this is awesome for me. So working for myself is awesome. Hello, Bob. How's it going? Let's see what you're saying. Best of the best, thank you. Welcome in. Unfortunately, I only speak English. You can blame America's educational system for that. I took 2 years of French, and I don't remember anything. My high school only had French and Spanish. Yeah, I know it's all Greek to me. Yeah. And I thought, what language would help me out in the future? Obviously French, right? When would I need Spanish? The main reason was the Spanish teacher was crazier than the French teacher. So I chose the less crazy person. Which I think I can say. They're probably both dead now, so... guys can do me a favor, if you can, if you're watching this on your phone, just give the screen a couple clicks. Just some double taps. It'll help get some more people in here. And maybe they'll have questions that you didn't even think of. And we don't have to talk about woodworking either. As long as we avoid politics and religion, I think it should be good. Hey Green Tech, how's it going? Welcome in. I'm trying to figure out what I want to make for dinner tonight. We just went grocery shopping. So I'm trying to figure, I either want to make spaghetti, I do have some pork chops, and I got some tofu, and I got all the vegetables to make a stir fry. So I'm thinking, maybe do the tofu stir fry tonight. It's good stuff. And I am far from a vegetarian. I'm trying to do like 50-50 right now. I like to get to like 80-20. I don't want to stop eating meat, I just want to cut back on it. I'm getting a little bit older. You gotta stop eating like a teenager someday, you know? And I feel tofu is a good way to support the American farmers who can't get rid of their soybeans. That one's got a little bit too much vibration in, so I'm just going to snap that. So you can do everything right. They're not all going to turn out. Wood is a natural material, obviously, and there's a lot of internal stresses. So when you're making something and it doesn't come out right, don't get down on yourself about it. And yeah, like firm tofu is like, what, $2 a pound? I had an ex-mother-in-law who was vegan. Oh my goodness. You never have to ask. She'll let you know. So I watched the first, the 4 episodes of Stranger Things that are available now. My partner was really excited, so she went online. She found which key episodes she had to watch to kind of be caught up to go in, because it's been so long. So Saturday turned into kind of like a marathon of Stranger Things. So yeah, usually after about an hour, it becomes very ASMR. These arms are made out of aromatic cedar. So they'll keep the moths away. So if you're curious, on the inside here, I do have a piece of chicken wire, which helps catch things from getting sucked up. Like if I drop my paper in there, it doesn't go all the way into the extractor. Because it can kind of get stuck on the infeed, and then you got to take the extractor apart. Alright guys, well we're going to finish up this one, and I think I'm going to call it a stream. Need to make some phone calls, get a hold of the girlfriend. But I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Much appreciated. Like I said, I got 1 or 2 more days just busting these out, and then we'll be going on to some different things. If you'd like to see that, please give me a sub and click the bell so you know when I go online. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good day.